entrepreneurship in the United States had been in decline for 4 decades. If in fact startups and entrepreneurship are really important to innovation and economic growth, as the research was showing, and if in fact entrepreneurship was in decline over a period when economic growth was slowing, those two things can't be unrelated. So we started the Center for American Entrepreneurship to be that a connection, if you will, to start that conversation between the innovation community, entrepreneurs, and policymakers in Washington.
Entrepreneurship is important for economic growth. And if you ask anyone on the Hill what they want economic growth, but a lot of times they can't connect the dots between new business formation and what that does for job creation. And so John and I decided to start CAE to fill that exact void and make sure that the entrepreneur's voice was heard here in DC.
The solutions are not necessarily the easiest solutions. They're tied to interest rates and policies formulations and our buying patterns and the motivation for people to become entrepreneurs.
Businesses that were formed in the last 5 years create more net new jobs than any other sector of the economy. So sheerly from a practical standpoint, we need entrepreneurs.
Working at Columbia University, my goal is to try and help these, by and large, federally funded deep tech innovations in life science, cybersecurity, semiconductors, and others make it from the lab out into the market so they can have a positive impact on society. These days, doing that mostly happens through startups and the entrepreneurs that launch them. So entrepreneurship has increasingly been the way that America's research innovations actually make it into the hands of patients and benefit the world.
We are singularly responsible for setting up entrepreneurship caucuses in the Senate and the House, and that provides a permanent basis from which policymaking can be done to help entrepreneurs. It's a gift that CAE is giving to the policy world that will go well beyond, any one person or organization.
Economic growth comes principally from gains in productivity driven by innovation, which comes disproportionately from new businesses or startups.
We need to stay in close touch with entrepreneurs to make sure that we're focused on the issues that matter to them, that they're experiencing out here in the real world and the real economy as they try to build and grow their businesses. And the only way, or the best way to really do that, is to get the hell out of Washington, travel the country, and sit across the table from 15 or 20 innovators, entrepreneurs, and hear directly from them. Here are the problems, here are the issues, here are the frustrations that we're dealing with. Then when we go back to Washington, we've got the straight scoop right from the mouths of the folks who we're trying to help, and we can deliver the message to policymakers in Washington.
We have some big, hairy problems to overcome societally, right? We've got housing, we've got climate change, we've got education that needs to shift. When are those problems going to be solved, or how will they be solved, if not through entrepreneurship?
This economy is still being built to the exclusion of a huge swath of our population, from marginalized and underestimated areas and/or populations across the country because of lack of access to social networks and capital.
Right now, we're on a 9-year decline as far as the lowest ever in terms of venture capital allocation. And that's particularly acute when you think about communities of color, women, continuing to have challenges accessing capital.
Entrepreneurship in America is not a white guy thing, it's an everybody thing. It's not a Democrat thing, it's not a Republican thing, it's an American thing.
This world needs entrepreneurs. We need them now, and we need them to continue to thrive.
Economists don't really agree on much, but one of the areas where there's ironclad sort of proof and broad agreement is the importance of entrepreneurship to economic growth, not just driving sort of high-tech, high-innovation businesses, but local businesses, small businesses. Entrepreneurs are uniquely positioned to adapt to changes in consumer tastes, changes in demographics. So economic growth is absolutely reliant on entrepreneurs. Secondly, culturally, right? Entrepreneurship is a big part of our culture, the American dream, right? It's it's talked about endlessly, that, if you play by the rules and you work hard, you can create a meaningful life for yourself, and entrepreneurship is the pathway to doing that.
The value creation is important. So people willing to say, I found something, now what is the value in it, is really what drives forward solutions, it drives forward new businesses, it drives forward jobs and opportunities. And it sort of is the heart and soul of the country, in my opinion. So how important is it? It's everything.